Look, John, because they're so magnetic, I can actually double fist them.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
You mean I can't screw two things at once?
Oh, okay, I guess it means that then.
I now own 9 standing desks because I'm a fucking insane person, and this one here, the DeskHaus Peak Pro, is by far the best one. And no, this video is not sponsored. As a matter of fact, 5 of those companies with the standing desks, they actually pay me a lot more per sale than DeskHaus does, especially Secretlab. So when I tell you that this one is by far the best one compared to all those other, it actually means something. So if you like that kind of honesty, like and subscribe. Let's get honest. So what makes the DeskHaus Peak Pro the best standing desk? Well, if you're 5'8" or taller, first of all, screw you. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, screw you. All right, no, but if you're 5'8", the standing desk height for you is gonna be somewhere around 41 inches. And every single 2-legged standing desk, I don't care if it costs $200 or $2,000, if you give the desk a push at 41 inches, every single standing desk with 2 legs is going to wobble. And the taller that desk goes, the wobble gets worse. Over there in this room, we have a brand new release standing desk. It's got 2 legs. It costs a whopping $1,700, and we made sure everything was balanced, and guess what? It still wobbles at 41 inches, and if you go higher, the wobble gets worse. Compare that $1,700 desk to the Peak Pro, which costs less than half, and look at this stability. This is the highest height. I believe it's 50.7 inches, and this thing is rock steady, like is ridiculous. Some people think, like I used to, that if you add more weight to the top, then it should make the desk more stable. But it's actually the total opposite, because the more weight you have on here, the longer it'll take for the desk to get back to stability. And so actually the wobble gets worse. And then some people called me out in my previous video saying, hey, just put it against the wall, problem solved. The problem is it's a standing desk, which means if you put it against the wall, it's gonna scratch the hell out of your paint. Or if you put it close to the wall, if that desk shakes at all, it's gonna bang and bump into that wall like crazy. DeskHaus also offers a 20-year warranty on their frames, which is an industry best. Everyone else out there, all the major brands, Flexispot, Autonomous, Desky, Vernal, all these guys, they offer only 10 to 15 years on their frames. If you've never heard of DeskHaus, they're a US-based company operating out of Michigan. A lot of their products are made in the United States, and they have a really loyal fan base because of how good and how quality their products are. They actually have another 4-legged frame called the Apex Pro, which used to be my favorite. You can see my video on it over here. But now the Peak Pro is my new favorite. And if you want to know why, I'll talk a little bit more about that in the comparison section later. But I want to jump into the features of the Peak Pro here. The most important factor of any standing desk, more so than the stability, is going to be the minimum height of the desk. A lot of standing desks, the budget ones that are $100 to $400, the minimum standing desk height is 27-ish, 28 inches. And that is way too tall for most people. This desk from Flexispot, the minimum height is actually 28 inches. And this is what 28 inches looks like. That didn't come out right. Look, I am 5'6", and 28 inches is way too much for me. That also didn't sound right, but come on guys, let's be mature, okay? So when I sit down at 28 inches, you can see that the desk height is actually a little bit off. In an ergonomic sitting position, ideally, the elbow part should be at a 90-degree angle and the forearm should be level with the tabletop. But you can see at 28 inches, it's just a little bit too elevated. The only way to fix this problem is to raise my chair up, and if I raise my chair up, then my feet aren't making proper contact with the floor. It just kind of messes with everything. So for me, ideally, at 5'6", the best minimum standing desk height should be around 25 to 26 inches. This is why DeskHaus offers 2 different options for their Peak Pro. You got a 3-stage high and a 3-stage low option, and that's going to determine the minimum height and the maximum height for the desk. Generally speaking, if you're 5'6" or taller, you want to go with the 3-stage high option where the minimum height is 25.5 inches. If you're under 5'6", look, I'm gonna be honest with you, you don't need an expensive standing desk because again, at your standing desk height, the desk isn't gonna wobble all that much. You just need to look for a standing desk with a minimum height of around 22 to 23 inches ideally. But if you want the most stable thing, if you plan on weighing that sucker down, then you wanna go with the 3-stage low option, which goes as low as 23 inches. The frame comes in a black or white, but no yellow, which is pretty racist. But anyways, it comes with a Bluetooth, sorry, I didn't get much sleep last night, but it comes with a switch, and this is the best switch that money can buy, and I appreciate that they don't give you a million different options that you need to choose before checkout. They just give you the best switch. It comes standard. This thing is pretty cool. It's got a Bluetooth feature where you can link it up with your phone via an app. I would never do that, so I'm not even gonna showcase it here, but it's got all the standard features. You can go up, down, you can set 3 different memory sets. You can kind of change the maximum and the minimum height too. Like say you're 5'5" and you get the 3-stage low and you want the desk to go down to 24 inches, not all the way to 23 inches. You can change the new low to be that so that when you quickly push the button, it'll get to that height. It also has one feature that I haven't seen before, which is a single push versus a continuous push. This is something that's really helpful if you have kids like I do, because my kids will come and they'll just push all the buttons and it'll make the desk go up and down. But if you have it set to continuous push, this is a great prevention system. There is one more option. It is a hidden option. This is not the like and subscribe gimmick that I do. This is a real option where you can get a tabletop for free, but I'm gonna save it later for the pricing section. Now, when it comes to cable management, unfortunately, this desk does not come with any built-in cable management systems at all. That might bum some of you out, but for me personally, I find that, again, I have 9 of these things that whenever they send me cable management systems, I find that they usually suck. And so because of that, I would much rather go on Amazon or something and find my own system, my own solution. If you're curious about how I cable manage this desk, it's because of this desk stand here from Hexcal Studio. This thing is really cool, really beautiful, but crazy expensive. It is a full-blown power circuit back here with a ton of outlets, and then you can store your cables inside, and it's got a built-in desk light as well. Super expensive. I'll link it with my coupon code if you're interested in checking that out. But yeah, no cable management system in the DeskHaus Peak Pro. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, what about the Flexispot E7 Plus? That's also a 4-legged standing desk. How does it compare to the Peak Pro? Unfortunately, I don't have the E7 Plus with me, but based on reading the spec sheets, I can tell you that the E7 Plus has a 2-motor system for 4 of their legs, whereas the Peak Pro has a 4-motor system, 1 in every single leg. What that's gonna mean is that the Peak Pro is gonna go up and down faster, smoother, quieter, and it's gonna be able to handle more weight on top when it moves up and down, I believe 600 pounds. Compare that to the Flexispot E7 Plus, which is gonna be somewhere around 400 pounds. And also, the DeskHaus Peak Pro offers a 20-year warranty on their frames, whereas Flexispot offers 15-year on their frames. And also, the pricing between the two are very, very similar, especially if you use the hidden option, which again, I'll talk about later in the pricing section. If you're wondering why I like the Peak Pro over the Apex Pro, it simply comes down to the price. When I compare those 2 desks together, the Peak Pro is pretty much identical in performance and everything to the Apex Pro. The difference is the Apex Pro is made in the United States, so it keeps the cost high, whereas this Peak Pro here is made in Malaysia, so it helps keep costs low. The Apex Pro does have 2 advantages over the Peak Pro. The first is going to be the minimum height on that thing is going to be 22 inches, so insanely low. Like that is kid height, ridiculously low, all the way to 48.5 inches, whereas on the Peak Pro, you have to choose. You got to compromise the minimum height and the maximum height. Also, on the Apex Pro, they're able to provide it in multiple custom colors if you wanted, so you can get that frame in any color, whereas again, this comes in black or white, so pretty racist. Bruh. When it comes to the price, if you use my code Ahnestly, you can get $50 off both the Peak Pro frame as well as the Apex Pro frame. So that's gonna put the Peak Pro at about $700-ish and the Apex Pro frame at about $925. But remember that hidden option that I was talking about earlier? This is where that pays off, because for a little while, if you use the code LANDFILL, you can actually get this tabletop, this 30x60 rubber wood top completely free with your purchase. This tabletop is gonna come with a 2-inch grommet cutout hole, and it's also gonna come with this electrical grommet insert, so the power cable goes down, you can stick plugs and 2 USB-A ports here, and you're gonna get that totally free. So that's gonna do it for this one. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, and as always, stay honest.